everyone, good day. I am Eliza Lorente and we are the discussants in this chapter, which is the chapter 10, Measures of Central Tendency and Variability of Assessment Data. So there are different sections that we will discuss today. The section 10.1 by yours truly and Miss Jerica Monghit, the section 10.2 by Mr. Joshua Manlangit, and the section 10.3 by Miss Shelo Pimelo and Miss Melissa Norlin Melo. In the field of education, much like in any other fields, it is helpful to describe data by a single value that is most representative of the entire collection of numbers, such as the test scores or grades of students. The representative number is called a measure of central tendency. In many cases, however, a single value might not be enough to paint a true picture of the collection of scores. One of the characteristics that we might want to look into is the score's dispersion or variability. Such interest requires another measure is the measure of variability. Now we have our objectives. After you have read and studied this chapter, you should be able to first describe the characteristics and properties of measurements of central tendency. Second, compute the measures of central tendency and variability of a given set of data. In our day-to-day experiences in school, we have been asked questions like, what is your average grade? Or you might even hear the news reports talking about averages such as the average income, expenses, and etc. What is an average? An average is referred to the single number that represents what is typical of the set of data. The word typical can mean many different things depending on what it represents in the set of scores. Hence, there are three measures of averages or central tendency: the mode, median, and the mean, because the mean is the most common among the three. Average in most instances is referring to the mean. For each of these three measures of central tendency, there are particular formulas and procedures. There are also certain differences in the procedures when the data is grouped and when it is ungrouped. Recall from the previous chapter that a data is ungrouped if it is not clustered into class intervals. On the other hand, a data is grouped if it is organized into class intervals. The mode. What is the mode? The mode is defined as the most frequent, typical, or most common value in the distribution, such as a set of scores. In other words, it is the score that occurs the most. Based only from this definition, we can already say that there will be instances when a set of scores will not have a mode, and there might also be instances when there is more than one mode. By inspection, we can actually determine the mode. Consider the following set of scores and a 10-item short quiz. 877-88564. What is the mode? How about this set of scores in a 5-item short quiz? 5432. What is the mode? Where the right question might be, is there a mode? To determine the mode in ungrouped data, just arrange the scores from the highest to lowest and find the score that occurs the most. For example, in the set of scores 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 9, and 10, the mode is 9 because it has the most frequency of occurrence. The median. The median is defined as the middlemost point or score in an ordered set of scores. Based on this definition, we can imagine that median value is the point where the distribution is cut into two equal parts. To find the median of an ungrouped data set, arrange the scores from highest to lowest or vice versa, and find the position of the median value by using the formula. So look at the formula, where n refers to the number of scores in the distribution. In instances wherein we have an odd number of scores, say 11 scores, the median will be the score that falls exactly in the middle. Use the formula given. For instance, 12 is the median value for the scores because it is the sixth score, and at that point, we have 5 scores below it and 5 scores above it. The mean. The mean is the most common measure of central tendency, particularly the arithmetic mean. Often because of its extensive use, it is sometimes referred to as the average even if it is not the only measure of average. The mean is generally defined as the sum of all observed scores divided by the total number of scores and the set. Where there is a mean of distribution, the sum of all row scores in a set of scores, and the total number of scores in the set. For ungrouped data, we can compute the mean using simply the formula stated above. Thus, the mean of the set of scores 4, 5, 6, 8, 8, 9, 10, 11 is 7.67. Based on this example, we can observe some characteristics of the mean that is worth noting. First, mean is not always the score that occurs the most. Second, it is not always the middlemost point in the distribution. In other words, it cannot always be called the typical score if we mean by typical is a score that we can observe most of the times. However, the word typical, if interpreted as the center of gravity, can be used when referring to the mean because the mean is actually where the scores are balanced. Imagine the mean as the fulcrum in a seesaw. It balances out the weights on each side, unlike the median, which might not actually balance the set of scores if the weight of each scores is factored in.